I recently bought a little micro PC to add to my home lab, and I've been checking out operating systems on what to use. Checked out Zima before, and now let's have a look at Proxmox. First off, Proxmox is one of the, if not the most popular operating system choice for home labbers. And after playing with it for a little while, I can absolutely see why. So first off, Proxmox is essentially an enterprise level data center management tool. It is a beefy piece of kit. While they do have a number of different options, I'm focused on the virtual environment in this case. Now, they do have pricing and it is expensive, but one of the main reasons it's so popular for home labbers is the open source community version is actually free. Documentation is acceptable. I'm not going to say it's great. Install was, for me, a little finicky, purely because, and I don't know if it was just me, but when you're going through the steps, I can show you. So when you go through the steps of setting up, first off, you download the ISO, you flash that onto a USB using Bellina Etcher, boot on your device to that USB, and it's pretty straightforward. But I got to this point where it was network management. Now, I assumed when I added the gateway, because I have a DHCP server, I expected it to automatically add whatever free IP there was. Didn't happen. The IP address that you add at this point is the IP address that this node will have. So be aware, if you've got a lot of different IP addresses on your network, then you're going to have to just think about that first. But apart from that, it was, pretty straightforward to get set up. All right, so when you set up and you log in, it's very different to services like Unraid and Zima OS. I'm going to say it's not super user-friendly. It is, if you were going to use Proxmox, the key is if you want something to just run Plex and a couple of bits and pieces and maybe a storage, and you don't really want to do anything more than that, Proxmox is probably not your go-to. Go with something like Casa or Unraid or Zima or something like that. If you are interested in learning more, like maybe you've got multiple small devices and you really kind of want to understand the nuts and bolts of home labbing, then Proxmox is a great option. But I will say it's not super user-friendly. Beginners will have hard time. Intermediate and up, I think you will have no issues. And of course, if you get stuck, ChatGPT is always there and is great for you. Oh, Proxmox doesn't have a different community edition and enterprise edition. It's the same software you're downloading. It's just a single tag to say I have a subscription or I do not. When you start, you need to disable enterprise subscription. So just go into the node, go to shell, and then add nano space /etc/apt/sources.list.d/pve-enterprise.sources, and you will have to type in with a capital E enabled : space no. Hit Control O, enter, and then Control X. That saves it. That removes the subscription option. Then you do apt update and you're good to go. So that's like the very first thing you need to do. There is a lot to go through in Proxmox, and I am not going to go through it all. I'll sort of really high level it. Unlike Unraid and the other services, there's no app store. There's no Docker management. Everything is a operating system with something on top. For instance, if you want to run Plex, you have to create a container, CT, give it a password. Then in the template, you install Debian, which should be in your templates. If I go back, you see it's a little confusing if you are just getting started. In the local demo, the templates, you'll have Debian there. Debian will be the underlying operating system for each of your little containers that you'll build. Then set how much space you want to put on this. So this will be the disk storage size that this particular container has access to. However many cores you want to associate to it, however much memory you want to do, network leave, DNS leave. But I like the fact that you can manage on a container level the network and DNS for just services on that container level, confirm and then run. Now that sets you up with the operating system. You would then need to go in that container and install Plex or whatever else you want to do. If you want to create a virtual machine, then you would use the VM option and you do the same sort of thing. One of the things about Proxmox, because it is like for a data center, you can have, if you've got like 3 or more devices, you can install Proxmox on all of the devices. Then you can start to manage all of the different nodes and connect everything as a cluster. It means that you can pull storage from, say, if you've got 5 different devices and they all have different storage things. All of those hard drives can be pulled into one hard drive that are shared across this whole cluster. You can have, for instance, one small device doing downloads, another one which has got a lot more CPU maybe doing transcoding for Plex, and you can mix and match the devices you've got and add, a container on this one and a container on that one and that sort of thing. It doesn't mean that you get to kind of share the processing power. It's not like adding everything up becomes one big processor, but you can share some resources, which is very good. And that, I think you can see now, it's like you've started to go beyond just a NAS and we're starting to build something a little bit more robust. I think the most suitable setup for this would be if you had a couple of smaller devices and an external drive. I think that would be the ideal Proxmox hardware setup. You can also have multiple services in a container. So you could have, say, a media container, which had sonar and radar and those sorts of things. Then you could have a downloader and Prowler in another container, and you could put that container behind some sort of VPS. I would say it's powerful. It's very customizable. Now, am I going to put this on my single Optiplex, like a single device like this? Then no, it's not really the right choice. If I had, say, 3 or 4 of these and an external NAS, then I think absolutely Proxmox is the right one to go for. Better than Unraid or anything like that because of that clustering option. And I would say that if you were just starting out, then it's worth maybe getting used to a more user-friendly operating system first and then moving to Proxmox when you're a little bit more confident. Because you do need to use console. You do have to understand how kind of things work a little bit more. So fantastic. It's great. It's free. Lots of, people absolutely swear by it. But in my case, it's a pass.